Hi everyone, and welcome to OCD Victory. My name is Matt, and in this video I really want to talk about how to overcome OCD. Now, this video is actually going to be just an introduction video into what I believe are the 10 major steps to achieving victory over OCD, and then I'm going to create a follow-up video for each of the steps and then really explain it in greater detail. So to start off, step number one is really developing the proper mindset. And what I mean by that, just briefly, is OCD. You really have to take it on as this idea of you're fighting a battle or a war, and you have to develop that mindset that you're going to win and that you're going to drive it out of your life, and you are going to stand victorious no matter what. And I'll explain on how to do that in the video, but really this mindset of, people often get in this mindset of, oh, I'm a victim, woe is me, and that this is impossible. And when you have that mindset, yeah, OCD is going to be impossible, and it's going to be very tough to fight. But if you develop the mindset that you can overcome it and that you will, that really greatly increases your chances that you're actually going to drive OCD out of your life. Which brings us to step number two, which is breaking away from labels. One of the things that Western society especially likes to do is label and pathologize people. And while OCD is a very serious condition, and it can be extremely painful for people to experience, it's just but a fraction of who you are as an individual if you suffer with OCD. There's so many great qualities and things that make that come together to make each individual, and there's so many aspects to your identity. And if you struggle with OCD or another type of mental illness, that's just literally but a little fraction of your life, and so I really want to drive that point home, that this idea of labeling people and taking on this like, oh, I'm obsessive compulsive, or I'm depressed, and really identifying with it and over identifying with it is a real problem. So it's really about breaking away from those labels that maybe you've put on yourself or someone else has put on you, and starting to re-identify who you are. And now this brings us to step three, which is developing your dreams. Now, to quickly talk about it, dreams are something that often get lost along our path of life. We get caught up in this rat race, and we're setting all these goals for ourselves. Oh, I need to graduate high school, then I need to graduate college, then I need to get a great job, then I need to buy a house, I need to get married. We have all these goals in our life, but somewhere along the line we lose this concept of dreams. And dreams are different than goals, because dreams are something that are really individual and personal, and they are really backed by a lot of passion. And I mean, it could be your dream to build something, whether it's like I wanted to build a log cabin, or to learn a craft, or to go somewhere, whether it be Egypt or Peru, or it's something that is very unique to each individual, and they're very, very key in really overcoming OCD, because when you have something that you're really fighting for, it gives you the motivation to keep going through the hard times. And so really utilizing this idea of dreams and really pursuing my dreams while I was overcoming OCD really helped me to really overcome it and drive it out of my life. This brings us to the fourth point, which is the psychoeducation. And psychoeducation is just crucial when it comes to overcoming OCD, because you really need to understand what's going on in your mind. And when you have that as a foundation for your treatment and really overcoming OCD, it's a lot easier to put yourself through the exposures, because you really kind of have that understanding of the different parts of your brain that are incorporated with the OCD cycle. And you really kind of understand why you're doing what you're doing. And when you do that, it's a lot easier to put yourself through in the hard part of exposure and response prevention. and keep moving forward and keep that motivation going. Which brings us to the next point, which is identifying your obsessive thoughts and compulsive behaviors. Now, notice that I didn't even talk about obsessions and compulsions until halfway through the ladder, and that's what really a lot of people, I think, miss in this treatment of OCD, is there's really a huge foundation that a lot of people don't lay out and set up when overcoming OCD, which is why there's not a lot of success with people, because they skip all these really important steps to really successfully overcome OCD and keep it out of your life, which again, it was my goal and I hope is your goal as well. I don't wish to offer people information that's going to help them temporarily. This is a get your life back entirely type of program. So when we're talking about identifying obsessions and compulsions, it's real straightforward. It's really just a matter of identifying the type of obsessive thoughts that you experience, and then identifying the compulsive behaviors that you do to alleviate the anxiety, stress, or guilt that is caused by those obsessions. So, which brings us to the sixth point, which is really identifying the root of the fears. Now, I'll go into why we do that, but really this is a key step, because when we identify the root of whatever it is you're afraid of, or that I was afraid of, when you do your exposure and response prevention, the goal is to take it to that root of the fear and really expose yourself to the root of the fear. And I talk about the 6 basic fears, and really taking your exposures to that level. And that's really what I believe helps drive people or drive OCD out of people's lives. This brings us to the 7th point, which is a process that I like to call accept, sit, and breathe. And in this process, you're basically, what the idea is to really just learn to accept whatever thought comes in your mind and sit with the feelings that accompany it, and then learn to implement diaphragmatic breathing in your life to really promote the flow of oxygen in your mind, in your brain, and in your body, and really help you habituate to the feelings that you're experiencing. And which leads us to step number 8, which is understanding the white bears. Now, this was like a huge turnaround in my treatment when I finally learned this concept, and it's a step that I really enjoy teaching people and really enjoy implementing into a treatment process, because once I understood this whole white bear, the white bear study, and the ironic process that was going on in my mind, it really helped me to understand why I was doing the exposures and how the exposures worked. So that step was really crucial, and it's a real exciting step to implement. Now, this of course brings us to step 9, which is exposure and response prevention. And this step is really the cornerstone and the fundamental treatment process of overcoming OCD. And it's the idea of exposing yourself to whatever it is you're afraid of, and your obsessive thoughts, and then preventing yourself from engaging in the compulsive behaviors. And what this promotes is this idea and this phenomenon of habituation, which really helps you to conquer your fears and naturally allow your body to come back to a normal state after you have that anxiety spike. And when you eliminate the compulsive behaviors, what you're really doing is showing your mind and your body that you can tolerate this fear, and you don't need to get rid of it. And then once you do that, the more and more you do that, you habituate to the fear, and eventually it ceases to become a fear. And the last step is really the step that a lot of people neglect. A lot of people go through exposure and response prevention, but then they don't incorporate this last step, which I find it to be so crucial in maintaining your freedom from OCD, and that's mindfulness. Now, mindfulness is, has its roots in a Buddhist technique, a Buddhist practice, but, it's far from a religious practice. It's more just a daily way of life. And I'll explain it in much detail when I go into my mindfulness video. But really, it's this idea of this is the behavior that you're going to replace your compulsive behaviors with. The compulsive behaviors are the unhealthy behaviors that keep this cycle going. But when you start to incorporate mindfulness, this is the healthy behavior that's actually going to take the place of your compulsive behaviors and really keep you free from OCD. And really, that's really the whole OCD victory process. So look for my next videos, as I'll be releasing them soon, and I'll be going through, step by step with you. For more information, feel free to check out my website at www.ocdvictory.com. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter, where I do weekly Q&As. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you for watching.